We are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the last part of the series of Grace in Grief. My name is Tammy Workman-Lopez with Sparks Hope. I'm assuming you know who I am, so let me introduce myself first and not assume. I've been coming on here and just sharing tips and tools around the things that I know, both personally and professionally, around grief. And my goal in doing so was to really create this experience of realizing we can give ourselves that grace when we're going through grief, or we can be stuck in it and make ourselves suffer. And so I've been bringing you different tips and tools and answering questions so you can see, well, which one am I doing? And how do I do this if I don't want to do that? Sometimes we know what we don't want to do, but then we don't know what we do want to do. And then there you go. And a lot of you also know that I've been dealing with my own level of grief, and it just doesn't seem to stop, right? Sometimes life can stack some stuff. And so it's important that you give yourself permission to just know there's going to be these experiences that you're going through. And you can also hold on to your routine as much as possible. You can also reach out for help and support as much as possible. And keep asking for different support and different help so you can continue to go through the same processing that you need to without feeling like you're burning out any particular person. And you want to make sure that you're getting healthy support. If you get support from somebody who does not know how to listen or shuts you down, that's not the healthy support that you need. So my request is to be mindful of the support that you're looking for, because otherwise you can cause additional suffering for yourself without meaning to, and then you have additional suffering that you're creating for other people as well. And so we just need to be mindful of that. We also have to be careful of our expectations, right? So we expect the people that we love to be able to be that for us, and they can't, right? Now, it's a little bit different if you're expecting your spouse to be that for you, right? Because that's what you would hope for, but they may not even be able to do that. And so it's important, again, to make sure that you get the support that you need and get clear of those expectations. If they don't have the capability, then whether you expect it or not, they can't. And so that's going to lead you in disappointment. So that was one I really wanted to point out. I kind of want to review over some tools that we talked about and I had gotten some questions on. Now, when you're in the situation of grieving a particular situation, like, do you get a divorce or not? Or, you might be dealing with the loss of someone and you're dealing with all of the things that you have to do after someone passes. There's just so much. And helping yourself understand where you're at is important. And so I just wanted to share some of the tools that we've talked about to kind of recap a little bit. So I'm going to share my screen. And just to recap, let's see, entire screen. There we go. That should be what we're like. Yep, okay, great. We don't need to know that. All right, awesome. So I think this looks like you can see it. All right, so this is my website. It's called Sparks Hope, or if you read it incorrectly, it's sparkshope.life. And once you click on it, you'll actually get this resource, Revive My Relationship Blueprint. You can come down here, fill out your information, click submit, and you'll actually get time with me to go over what's your action plan? What are you going through? What are some things that you need support with? And we could take a look. Is working with me something that you like? Maybe, but maybe there's some other resources that we can give you to get started. Maybe you're not ready, and that's okay too. So I just wanted to share this with you. When you click onto my page, it'll be the first thing that opens up. Now, if you then go to resources, you'll then be able to see the resources that I've been sharing with you. So you'll also see my book that I put out, Mastering Your Destiny. That was my first one. Oh, and I do have my second one here to remind you guys, Brave. Let me know if you're interested. I'd love to get you the link. This one was me and 7 other authors. And I've had clients and friends read it, and they've been sending me pictures of themselves with the book, and they were surprised. They've known me they've known about me, and they said, this shared so much more with me. It really shows how much you really practice and what you've gone through to continue to be practicing what you're teaching. And they just felt extremely inspired. And so, even if it's not for you, I'd love to get it to someone else so we can keep getting the word out on how to help people with these tools and supports. All right. So then the next thing we're going to take a look at, this is the complimentary session that I always offer. When we're dealing with grief, we do not understand always that there's a big aspect of our thoughts that are creating a big part of the problem, right? We have the loss. That's 100% sure. But if we have these negative thoughts, like I'm not good enough, I should be doing this better. Now, of course, if we're dealing with grief, well, I mean, I guess if you've lost a spouse and now you're looking to date, right? Or you've had a divorce and you're looking to date. No one listens to me. I don't feel respected. Any negative thinking, right? And when it comes to grief, just to give you a couple of others, things like, and I apologize if I get a little emotional. I'm not apologizing that I feel emotional, just apologizing in case I get a little emotional, because it may make you feel a little emotional, but just know that emotions are safe and they're good. And it just means that you're having empathy. So when we say to ourselves, I'll never get to see them again, or I'm never going to hear their voice again, or the nevers, any of the nevers, that is going to cause suffering. And you could feel it. I can feel it. But if instead I shift to that and I think, oh, I remember when they said this to me. I remember when we did that together. Oh, I remember when this, and I remember when that. Stay in what you have created with them. Because when you go into the nevers, your being is recreating that pain. Your being is in that space of pain all over again. But when you're in what you created, you're in the joy, you're in the connection. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not going to have grief, but over here, the grief is going to be overwhelmed also with joy and love and connection, right? So continuing to be in that, and we can't always be there. Also, so don't make yourself sad when you're sometimes in that suffering, or don't make yourself wrong. It's just you don't want to live there, and we can get caught up there. We can get ourselves lost there and never come out. So when you're taking a look at this document here, you'll see that when we're becoming aware of that negative thinking, we can also see the emotions that it creates. These emotions stem from our thoughts. And then what is it that we can place as a thought instead? And then when you and I meet, we'll be able to talk about these things. We don't want to make them wrong or get rid of them. We want to be able to see, what are they telling us? They're telling me that I'm making myself angry. They're telling me that I'm holding this tension in my jaw, my back, my neck. And so how do I work with that? What do I need to do? How do I get here and really practice it versus it just being words? Right? So I wanted to remind that with you. And then you'll see there's another aspect to it down here. But this is just the first part that we get to take a look at. And then the second part is after we have taken care of this. And then the other resource that I wanted to reiterate with you is in setting boundaries. Now, I have an updated version, so when we meet, we'll be able to go over that. This actually comes from the book called The Secret Language of Feeling. Some of the points do come from there. But I actually put together my own ideas with that. And the idea is really understanding that we get to set boundaries with ourselves when we're dealing with grief, and we just may not know how to do that. And so this document helps you to do that, right? So positive statement to yourself, hey, you're doing a great job. When you say this, you're creating suffering. When you say this, you're creating connection, right? And so then that's this part. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? And then 4, what do I need instead? Or what do I need more of? And then being able to take a look, okay, yeah, that really worked, or no, that didn't, or I don't know how the hell to do that, or I don't know what the hell you're talking about, right? So being able to go through that process helps us to set boundaries with ourselves. It creates that relationship because we've got all this other stuff going on when we're dealing with grief, right? When we've got all this grief going on, we've got all this emotion, and it can feel like we're crazy. It could feel like there's something wrong with us, but it's not the truth. It's just your emotions all coming, right? It's just your nervous system spiking, right? And so we might use terms like I'm crazy, or I'm having a nervous breakdown, or, I just can't do this anymore. I don't want to be here, um, or I'm never going to be okay. That's how it feels, but that doesn't mean it has to be the truth. And so those are the thoughts, right? And we don't even realize they're negative thoughts because we think negative thoughts, well, those are where I'm really wallowing in stuff. No, if you have a thought and it makes you feel negative feelings, it's a negative thought. Not to make it bad or wrong, we don't want to erase it. We actually want to look and see, what are those negative thoughts? What's coming up for me? What's coming up around this grief experience? Am I standing in suffering? Am I making it worse on myself? Am I making it worse on others, or others making it worse on me? Being able to understand that there's different processes that are going to happen, right? So for example, when we're looking, we've been told there's the 7 stages of grief, or the 5 stages of grief. This doesn't even encompass all the levels of grief, right? There's some things that you'll think about that are not in here. Anxiety is not in here. Isolation, not really in here. And then for some people, going out and getting too involved, being too outgoing, making incorrect choices, right? Being too spontaneous. Those things aren't in here, but they could be part of it depending on the person. And they're everywhere, right? This isn't a loop like this. This is just to help you see the categories. What's the truth? Well, here's the truth. Yeah. And this is where that fog lives. This is where the confusion lives. This is where that unsettling lives. This is where that tension and that pain and that you don't feel like yourself. That's where that lives. And so giving yourself permission to go, okay, that's where I'm at. And what is the support that I can get? And I've had so many of my clients say that when they've worked with therapy, it's been very helpful. And when they've worked with support groups, it's been very helpful. But they find at times they don't know how to move forward into their goals and into their next steps. And so taking this work and bringing it to that as well as a support, being able to do both. You don't have to just be in the pain first and then you'll get there. Absolutely not. One of the things that I was able to do during my divorce, I have already learned over my lifetime, because I had a very, very traumatic childhood up until my teens, into 14, 15. Everything was a secret. Everything was suffering. Everything was pain. Oh my gosh. It was to the nth degree. I thought about death all the time. I don't know that I only didn't do it because of that, but one of the biggest reasons is I was afraid of what would happen if I did something to myself. And so being able to realize all that stuff going on is thinking, and your thoughts are safe once you learn how to work with them. Bringing in that support, understanding your thoughts, understanding your emotions, understanding why your body might feel sick because of the tension you're holding on to, understanding why you might be making choices that aren't good for you, understanding why you might be picking the people that you're picking. Even after you think you've done the work and you won't do that again. Because there's different things that we still get to work on. And giving yourself grace in that process is necessary. And so when I was going through that process, I reached out for help in every avenue. Every time I was talking to somebody, I'm talking to them, processing this and processing that and thinking this through. And, sometimes it was like learning this isn't going to be the best person to help me to do that, and that's okay. But just getting different ideas and different understandings, because the way my mind works, is the more I can understand something, the more my mind feels calmer, right? I've got that ADD, ADHD, so my mind is like, so the more I can calm it down, the better. So understanding how my mind works and what it needs. Some people, maybe not as much processing is a good idea. Maybe just writing down their own thoughts first. And I did do some of that. I was doing that, still am doing that actually. I use ChatGPT to help me. I'll put in my thoughts and then it organizes it and puts it in a summary for me where I'm like kind of, a little bit more here and there and here and there and here and there with all the thoughts and the feelings and the experiences and the this and the that. And then I'm able to do that for my clients. So it's interesting. We have a harder time doing it for ourselves. So these are just the supports and tools that I wanted to share with you that you can see. Okay, so if this is where I'm at, it's good to be able to see that this is normal. It's good to be able to see that this is going to feel foggy. And I can still come over here in the midst of dealing with this, right? So I continued to be in new patterns and in new strengths and in new relationships. I continued to have hope and I continued to have creating affirmations for myself and I continued to help others. And I would drop into numbness. I would drop into shock. I would drop into anger. I would drop into fear. And I'm saying I am, right? Still here. This just happened. And that's okay to know that you're going to come over here. Stuff's going to come up, right? Just to give you a simple example, I was looking to put the background from where I used to. Let me see if I can't show you while it's live. I don't think it'll let me. It might disable the camera. Yeah, it'll disable. At my home, I had this beautiful wooden wall, and I just loved it. I thought it was the coolest. And when we first moved in, my husband was like, "Oh, I hate that." I was like, "That is so cool. That's the coolest thing I've ever seen anywhere." That wall and the tree out front kind of spoke to me, and I was like, "All right, all right. This is your dream house. I love it. Your dream house. These two things are speaking to me. So it says this house will work." And so I thought, let me get a picture from one of my videos of that wall because I'd love to see it behind me. And I was going to do that today for the final, and I couldn't. I put it up, and all I felt was sadness. I thought I would feel that same happiness around it. No, didn't come up. And so it's okay to let yourself go through stuff you didn't expect, right? Which is what had me a little bit emotional getting started. Didn't expect it, wasn't ready for it, didn't plan. So helping yourself to see as you're looking here, seeing all these squiggles and all this stuff and what you might be doing, the goings ups and the goings down and all that fun. I'm being a little sarcastic. I know it's not fun. But as you give yourself permission to know that's going to be, and helping yourself to see this is just part of your growing, it's just part of your journey. You're going to be fine, and give yourself permission to have the supports that you need. Do not do this alone. And if you feel like you don't know how, then reach out. I can help you take a look at things. I can help you see what's available in your community. I can help you see if you want to work with me. I can help you have ways to be able to talk with someone, right? It can be easy to get really pissed off that the world is going on around you and you're going through this suffering and it feels like no one cares. But in actuality, we have incorrect expectations of them and what we're asking. And sometimes we're not asking very nicely or very clearly. So there's all different kinds of tools and supports that you'll need to be able to just even have a conversation with someone. You might be really pissed off at them because they don't understand. Have you really been able to be clear to explain it? Like, this is what it feels like. And are they emotionally sound to be able to handle that? Maybe not. Right? So it's just getting clear on all those things. And so these are just the resources I wanted to share with you and go back over with you so you could take a look. And they are here, as you can see. So if you need them, reach out to me. You'll be able to get them. And these tools are readily available for you for free. You don't have to do anything to get them. This one here, when I say, well, heck, where did it go? I guess I clicked away from it. When you do come back to the website, you'll be able to see the the document that you can sign up for, you're not signing up to pay for anything. That's actually a free document that you're going to receive. I guess because I already came on it, it's not going to pop up. Let me see if it's just on the home page. It might just be on the home page. No, I think it's just the first. Oh, yeah, there you go. It's on the home page. So this is just you signing up for this, so I have your information to follow up. You don't even have to do that, right? You can actually just come over to the resource page and get this information if you want. That's just for me to help having your information, so that way we can make sure to follow up with each other. And then you would just be reaching out to me and say, hey, I requested this. I also would like this breakthrough call. But you can also see that you'll have all the resources here that you need. So whatever it is that you'd like, this isn't to pin you down. This is to get you the information to help you feel good with the things that don't feel good. Yeah? All right, cool beans. You can also come over here, right? And you'll be able to see more about me if you wanted to learn more about me. And you'll be able to see who I am and what I'm about and why you would even want to connect with me anyways. And I do have here, if you want to know more, you can even click and get even more information about me. And so you'll get all the information that you need, all the supports, all the resources. And so then you're like, okay, so why would I want to connect to this person? How is she going to help? And so I hope with today's information, as well as I just recapped here, you feel good about reaching out and just look into more support that you can get for yourself, right? Whatever that looks like, even if it's not me. All right, you guys, it's been absolutely wonderful spending this time with you. Um, it's been a pleasure and an honor to go over your questions, to go over your supports. And one of the ones that I answered today is that experience of, I feel crazy. And the other question I answered is, what do I do? How do I understand this? And so I hope this gave you that reminder and that understanding and things that you can do. Stay in your routine as much as possible. And there was going to be stuff that falls to the waste side. I don't want to say waste side. There's going to be some things that fall to the side, and some of it you may have to catch up, and some of it you may have to ask for help for. There's some stuff that may fall to the side you're not even aware of. I'm catching some things now that I didn't realize was happening for me in April and a bit of May, that I was just like, oh my gosh, I totally missed that. How did I miss that? Well, because I was there. And so as it's starting to clear up a little, not a whole lot, now I'm able to see more and more. Shoot, I got to get to that and get to this and get to that. So just give yourself that grace as you're going through that grief, whatever it is, whether it's loss of a loved one through death, loss of a loved one through divorce, a loss of going through your experience of children moving out and getting married. It could even be a beautiful loss, but it's still a loss. It could be a loss of aging. When we're moving from one experience to another, this is a loss, and that's okay. Helping yourself to understand going through that experience and getting support for it, so it could be so much easier and shorter, and you'll be able to process it. Oh, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's not go through this time of extreme suffering. I've watched some folks do it, and they wanted to punish themselves. And those are the ones who lost children. And there were others. There's actually been a couple who lost a spouse, and they wanted to punish themselves, and they just refused. They slowly got out of it. It took them longer. So if you can give yourself permission to just a little, allow in that support. And if you could give yourself permission to give a lot, allow in that support. All right, you guys, bring it in. Big squishy hugs for health. You make sure you take care of you. Get all the support that you need, and know that you're not in this alone, even if it feels like it, and even if you believe it is. Just know that you're wrong, because I'm right here, right? You're not alone. And remind yourself of that. Look at the beautiful sky and let the sun warm you. Let the wind caress your face. And you take care of you. Ciao for now. And know that you're loved, whether you like it or not. Bye.